You all had a wonderful Christmas, a wonderful New Year. Even though we interacted on Christmas Day, we were unable to interact on New Year's Day because I couldn't go on air all on my own. Even though the studio was available, my people were not available. So we had to accept that New Year's Day was off. Right, so today is the first opportunity I'm having to wish you a happy New Year. So much has happened. Today is what, the 8th of January 2020. 2020 is the beginning of the new decade, the beginning of the next 10 years. So we truly have to kick off 2020 by bringing up issues that I believe we should begin to look at in the ways that we should begin to look at them. For instance, when the federal government when the federal government makes decisions, whether they are policy decisions, and makes pronouncements about those decisions, truly we need to look at these issues more seriously and discuss how they affect us, how they affect the states, how they affect the regions, the geopolitical regions of the 6 regions in Nigeria, and perhaps the way that certain decisions may affect one geopolitical zone or one particular state may not necessarily, and actually it's not the same way that it will affect the other state or the other geopolitical zone. And so the issue of the visa at the point of entry in a country like Nigeria, with the sort of issues that we have in Nigeria today, the major one being the issue of unemployment, the second one being the issue of security, and the other one being the issue of if people come in, I mean, do we have the facilities, do we have the capacity to trail them, to know whether in effect they should actually, whether they qualify to come into the country. Now, the first question that I think we should ask is, was it in the interest of Nigeria? And therefore, was it in the interest of Rivers State, and was it in the interest of the Niger Delta region for the president to have made that statement abroad? That statement was made based on our interactions with other African countries, and there are other African countries that actually do have that type of system, Kenya and countries like that. But this is Nigeria. This is not Kenya. And Nigeria, I believe that Nigeria should not place herself in a position that because she thinks that she is the giant of Africa, she is the big brother of Africa, or the father of Africa, or the mother of Africa, that we should be making decisions that would not at the end of the day be in favor of the citizens of Nigeria. Now, when you give people visa at the point of entry, why are you giving them visa at the point of entry? Is it just because they are Africans? Do they have a job in their hometown. And so if they don't already have employment, say if they are coming in from Ghana, let us say, why are they coming in from Ghana? You say they are on holidays. Okay, so if they are on holidays, are they going to go back after the holidays? Now, if you say that you're giving them visa at the point of entry, are they investors? Are they coming to invest in Nigeria? And if they're coming to invest in Nigeria, are they coming to invest in what area in Nigeria? Now, when you give them the visa, for instance, if they come in through the airport in Lagos, or even through the airport in Port Harcourt, and you give them visa at the point of entry, why are they coming to Port Harcourt? When they come to Port Harcourt, are they going to Abonima? Are they going to Emoha? Are they going to Isiokpo? Where are they going? And if we have an influx of people that are coming in without visa from Africa, do we have enough accommodation to go round for us as Nigerians in Rivers State before you are allowing foreigners in? Are they staying in hotels? Are they able to pay their hotel bills? These truly are questions that should be answered, and these questions should be asked on behalf of you and I by the state government. These questions should be asked on our behalf by the senators, by the House of Representative members, because that's what they're there for, by the state assembly members, because that is what they're there for, by these local government chairmen, because these people, when they come in, they are going to settle in a local government. They're not going to be in the air. They're going to settle in a local government. If you say it is free trade, that there should be free trade and free movement between African countries. Free trade of what? Free trade of technology, free trade of used clothes, free trade of illegal goods, free trade of what? How does this decision to allow Africans into Nigeria, how does that help Nigeria? If you don't want to know how that helps Nigeria, I want to know, how does that help Rivers State? How does that help the Niger Delta? Migration services have the capacity to know if this person has already committed a crime in the country of their origin, and that crime they've committed, they are already in court and judgment has not been given, and they've left their country and they are coming into Nigeria. These truly are questions that we should ask. And is Nigeria able? Does Nigeria have the capacity to know at the point of entry when a passport or a document is presented? And don't forget, we are allowing people in who already do not need a proper passport of a 5-year passport or a 10-year passport. Most of them need is a travel document to enter any African country. Already we have signed up to situations like that. So what sort of business are they coming to do? And if they're coming on holidays, how long are they going to stay? And if they overstay the mandatory, if you like, 3 months that we're told they will be given, how do we find them? How do we trace them? This should be very worrying for us as Rivers people, as Niger Delta people. We already have a problem with unemployment. When we allow influx of Africans to come into Nigeria, and don't forget, we already have a situation where categorically the president has told us, the military has confirmed that the crisis of Boko Haram, the people who are coming in with sophisticated arms and weapons to come and carry out killings and atrocities in Nigeria. We've been told that they are foreigners from time, that they are not majorly Nigerian. So that is one problem. Now, if this is the case, how then do you open up our borders, whether it's by road or by air or by sea, for people to come in, and you allow them in at the point of entry, where obviously the type of screening that they would have gone through if they had applied for visa a month or 2 or 3 before, through the computer system, that they would still go through the same stringent screening at the point of entry. So these should be issues of very grave concern to us. And then when you now hear different ethnic, another ethnic nationality in Nigeria saying, for instance, the Metis Allah is saying that every Fulani person that is across Africa, it doesn't matter whether he's in Gambia, he's from Gambia or Congo or wherever, that as long as, it's like saying, as long as you are an Ikwere person, you're free to enter Ghana, you're free to enter Togo. As long as you are an Ijaw person, you are free to enter Benin. You're free to enter here and there without any proper screening. This is what this statement has been turned into. The president may not have meant it like that, because that is not what he said, but other people are reading it and interpreting it and insisting that that is what it means. And we cannot sweep it under the carpet. We should not pretend that this is acceptable the way that it is presented to us. Now, the reason why Africa or Africans and some people are moving towards certain areas in Africa, i.e. the West African coast, there is a lot involved there. Some people are moving in because this area is wet. This area has water. This area has green. This is considered, this is savanna area. This is green area. This is agrarian area. When you come into Nigeria, the southern part of Nigeria, the southeast, the southwest, the south-south, the middle belt, these are the food area. Some part of Jos, some part of other part of northern Nigeria is agrarian, but some parts of these areas in Nigeria are also dry. Now, if you let in people from African countries that are coming in from similar climatic areas, like the dry area, like the desert areas, to come in, and they are free to just stroll into Nigeria, and at the point of entry they are given a visa. What are they coming? For instance, what are they? If people start coming, if non-Nigerians start coming into Rivers State, unless they immediately assimilate Rivers dressing, or unless they immediately assimilate Rivers culture and the different languages and cultures of Rivers State in the Niger Delta in Nigeria. Unless they're going to do that overnight, it will be very easy to identify people who are not from Rivers State, for instance, if they start moving into Rivers State. So it will be very easy to identify. So now I'm asking myself, if somebody just gets up and comes into Rivers State, are they coming to invest in agriculture? Are they coming to invest in fishing? What are they coming into Rivers State for? Are they coming to look for jobs? Are they coming to visit our cultural heritage sites? Are they coming in for holidays? What are the holiday spots that they are coming to in Rivers State? Is it the pleasure park in Port Harcourt that is attracting them? I mean, these are realistic for me. These are realistic questions that we should ask ourselves, and these questions should be asked by our politicians and our governors, our senators, our representatives, because once they come in, the effect of it, whether it will be cultural, the effect of it will be cultural, the effect of it will be religious, the effect of it will be all kinds of stuff, because it's everybody and anybody that is allowed into Nigeria at the point of entry. When these people come, the little resources that we have, they will partake of those resources. And that is why at the end of the day, even a country like the United Kingdom have decided to pull out of the European Union, because the reason why the European Union at the time it came together had the main reason was trade. At the end of the day, there is no way that you will change laws in your country to accommodate other people that are not originally from your country, that it will not have an effect on you. For instance, in the UK, before they joined the EU, before they put up the EU, the United Kingdom had a social system. The social system was that if you're pregnant, for instance, and you have children and you're prepared to stay at home and look after your children, there was an amount of money that was paid. It was social. It was inclined to take care of the needs of the children, of the mother. They had a system where you qualified for housing, you qualified for so many things, free education and all of that. Now, once they began to allow other European countries into the UK under the sort of agreement, automatically people in France, people in Yugoslavia, people in so many poorer countries in Europe that didn't have the sort of social welfare system that the UK had, came into the UK because of the agreement with under the EU, and they automatically qualified for these things that the British people have set up for themselves for their own benefit. And so it reduced the number of British people who could access these things for themselves, because French, Germans, Yugoslavians, everybody, even education, it affected the healthcare system, it affected education, it affected the welfare system that was set up and paid for by the British taxpayer for British people, not for foreigners, for British people and people who qualified. It affected the British people. And this is where the resentment started, and people started to ask questions. And that is why when the decision was made to ask the British people if they wanted to continue to stay on in the European Union or not. A lot of people who wanted to leave were within a certain age bracket. That is because they could tell very clearly the disadvantage that they had endured because that they joined the European Union. It's a very similar thing that African countries are copying. And African countries are copying these things without learning from the mistakes that were made by the countries that they are copying. Just because European Union worked for decades, we must realize that the European Union now in and trade is no longer working for some countries, and that's why the British government is pulling out, because it has come to find out that its financial contribution in terms of what it offered other European countries was far more than they were gaining.